Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. I hope you are doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, today we are going to take a quick preliminary look at Dungeons of Draggmar, a game from the Mongrel. And how do you like that cover art? That is just incredible. We're going to talk about the art in more detail in a bit. Let's read a little bit about Dungeons of Draggmar. Hire heroes, send them to certain death, and adorn yourself with fame. A dynamic and fast-paced, or a dynamic and fast game filled with dungeons, monsters, items, curses, and plenty of heroes you might decide to sacrifice so you can get more fame. And there's a little layout of everything you're going to get. And this game I backed on Kickstarter. Thank you to the Mongrel. I completely forgot to finish my my pledge manager. God, I hate keeping track of pledge managers. It actually makes me like not want to back things on Kickstarter anymore because it's so much just hassle and bookkeeping. But I contacted them. They let me pay my shipping late, and they sent it out to me. So thank you very much. So Dungeons of Draggmar. It is a small card-based dungeon crawl, very similar to the video game Darkest Dungeon in terms of theme and tone, where you are playing kind of a guild master. You are hiring heroes, you are equipping your heroes with items, and you are sending them out into the land, into different dungeons. So you will be working through 3 different levels of dungeons in order to get more fame. And the person with the most fame at the end of the game wins. There is a semi-co-op feel to the base game where it is good to work together because the game can be very difficult. So you want to stay together and you want to trade, you want to help each other in some situations. But at the end of the day, it's the guild master with the most fame who will actually win the game. So let's talk about the good first, and let's talk about the art. The art is really what drove me to back this game. I saw the art and I immediately wanted this art in my room. Just incredible. There are 3 artists credited to drawing and to the design of the game, and that is Nakarin Sukantaran, Neri Reart, and David Kamasase. I probably completely butchered all 3 of those names, and I do apologize. The game was created and designed by the Mongrel, I believe. Maybe it is Moongrel. I just noticed that. It might be Moongrel. Little play on words there. But the art is just fantastic. So right now in my hand of cards, I have a couple of heroes. I have a rogue, a ranger, and then we have some lockpicks, a shield, a medium shield, and light armor. I love the design of the shields and the armor. And there are all kinds of cool items to get. And all of the items have great art. I would love to see this. It is very reminiscent of Darkest Dungeon. And here's some of the heroes here. The Inquisitor. Oh man, look at that guy. Awesome. The Hunter. Another Inquisitor, a Warlock, a Warrior, Rangers, Rogues. So you have your typical assortment of heroes there to send into their doom in the dungeon. And then when you're going through the dungeons, you have a level 1 dungeon, you have a level 2 dungeon, and you have a level 3 dungeon. And the dungeon, each one of these cards represents a room and something that the heroes will have to overcome in their dungeons, such as bosses. There are boss monsters here, and those are going to be shown by that symbol there. And once you kill a boss monster, that dungeon is kind of cleared. And then you have other different kinds of minions, and you will have traps and different things you will have to overcome. But overall, the art is just so good. I love looking at these cards. I love seeing all of the different things that you're going to be facing off against. Each one of the dungeon cards, I believe, has different art. So you do get a lot of art on the dungeon cards, and it all looks really good. I would love to see this art used in other games. Might have to check out the artist's to see what other work they have done. There are also some curses here, and these are kind of like the bad things that will happen to your heroes. Too bad these don't have any additional art. I would have loved to have seen the curses each have a little piece of art to signify the curse. And then there is a small expansion, a Rift expansion that is included in the game. I'm not sure if this is at retail or if this was just included in the Kickstarter, but these are different ways to make the game harder, and these all have unique art as well. So yeah, I was super stoked on the art. I'm so happy to see this kind of like bold art used in a game. I love it. And unfortunately, that's about the end of the positives I have to say about Dungeons of Draggmar. I've had a very, very frustrating time learning this game. I've played 2 learning games, and both of them have been miserable. I'm not sure if I'm playing correctly or not. And so I do hesitate to say this is any kind of review. This is just kind of going over my frustrations with learning the game. There is a thread on BGG, and they did say, I think as of October 23rd, they were looking to create a new rule book. And that is one of the major problems with the rulebook. The rulebook that comes with the game is tiny. I mean, it's like the size of a playing card, of like 2 playing cards. And the text is so small. I did not know that humanity had developed the technology to print text this tiny. I struggled to read the incredibly small text in this book. Luckily, you can print it out. So I did print out a large version of the rulebook, but then even folded, it probably won't fit back in the original box. So I do need to probably print one that is a medium size, but at least with this, I can read the rules and at least read the words. But figuring out some of the rules has been a real frustration for me. I have the game set up at the exact state that I started my last trying to learn game. And I'm kind of want to go through it just to see if maybe somebody can say I'm playing the game wrong or if I'm not understanding something. But the game is basically played in 3 phases. On your first phase, you will send, so all the heroes are going to start in the town over here. So your guild, you have your guild in your town, you're going to be hiring heroes. At the beginning of the game, you're going to draw a hand of 7 cards, and that can be any combination of heroes, 1, 2, or 3 heroes, and the rest items. I wish at the beginning of the game, I wish the rules gave you more direction in what you should be taking into your first dungeon. It gives you the choice of 1, 2, or 3 heroes and the rest items. But when you're first starting the game, you don't really know if you need 3 heroes or not. You don't really know how your heroes and items are going to be used. So I do think it would be better if the game told you, hey, for your first turn, grab 2 heroes and 5 items, or 3 heroes and 4 items. I chose 2 heroes and 4 items for my initial hand. I had you draw randomly, so I drew a rogue, a ranger, a lockpick, a light shield, a medium shield, and some light armor. And then also with the solo game, you're going to draw a number of items from each of the item deck. And the item deck is situated in, or it's separated into levels, just like the heroes. You have items of levels 1, 2, and 3. And at the beginning of the game, you are going to draw 2 items of each level. And this is for the solo game. This simulates the other players who might have items to trade. So you can trade your items for these items during this second phase of the game, which is the hiring phase. And I do really like this. This is a nice addition to a solo mode. So then after you have, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to scout. And to scout means you're going to point to 2 of these dungeon tokens out on the board here. and you're going to flip those over to see what level those dungeons are. And so this situation here is what happened to me on both of my learning games. So these two here, we're going to let's point to those two, a level 2 dungeon and a level 2 dungeon. So now on when I do my dungeon run, I can go into either of those dungeons, and they're both level 2, but I'm only a level 1 kind of a guild master now. And so now you want to do a thing called hiring, where you can spend your fame to purchase more items and more heroes. I can't find anywhere in the book, but I don't think you start off with any fame. Maybe I missed it. It's not in the setup. I'm not sure. So I think you start with 0 fame, but level 1 items and level 1 heroes are always free to draw. But I'm not sure how many you can draw. I know you have a hand limit of 7 cards, but that's actually not even mentioned, I think, until page 6 of the rulebook. But I don't know if I can just draw as many of the level 1 cards as I want and then swap out to have a more advantageous hand. I'm not sure. I am saying that though this state here that I have in my hand is after I've already drawn. I had already drawn a couple cards and decided on what to keep and what to trade. So this is my final hand here that I am taking into the first dungeon. I played that I could only draw 1 additional hero and 1 additional item, and then swap those if I needed. So I ended up with some light armor. I swapped out an extra lockpick for this light armor, and I drew the additional hero I drew was another ranger, so I just kept my ranger. So after you've done your hiring, then you're going to send your hero into a dungeon. And so I have 2 level 2 dungeons to pick, so I can send him to a level 2 dungeon there. And then you go into the dungeon. So you take your dungeon deck here, you shuffle it, and I've already shuffled it. So I'm setting this up exactly how my last game went. That's going to go there. And then you draw a dungeon card. So in the first room of this dungeon here, I'm facing off against a gunman. So he does 3 damage to me. He has a defense of 2. If defeated, I get to draw a level 3 treasure. And if defeated, I get 2 fame. Okay, so that's the first challenge in this dungeon here. So you lay that down there, and then now you send in a hero. So I can send in my rogue or my ranger. My rogue can do 1 damage, and he has 1 health or defense. And health and defense is also a term that's interchangeable in the rules, so I believe those are the same thing. And then you have, so for instance, where was that? Here, it shows the shield as being health, but on their player aid, it shows the shield as being defense. So that's what I mean. I'm a little confused on that, but I think they're the same thing. So you I'll send in my ranger, and now I can equip my ranger with up to 3 items that he can use as a ranger. So I can see the ranger can use arrows, things with arrows there. Okay, so I can use any of my shields there or my armor. So this guy's going to do 3 points of damage to me. I only have 2 hit points, so I need to absorb that. I can only do 1 damage to the creature, but the creature has a health of 2, so I can't kill this gunman. I don't have any weapons, so all I can do is defend. So I will need to defend 3 points there. So I will play my medium shield, which defends against 2, and I will play my armor, which defends against 1. So I've blocked all 3 points of damage there. So these get discarded. You only use items 1 time per room, or 1 time in the dungeon. After you use an item, they are discarded. Yeah, each item can only be used in 1 room, then it is discarded. So I was unable to defeat this guy, but I did get past him because I survived. So he's turned at 90 degrees. I don't get any loot, but I will get some fame at the end. So then you go on to the next room. Okay, my next room is an assassin. He does 2 points of damage to me. He has 2 points of health. Again, I think you can see the problem here. There was no way for me to defeat both of these creatures because of bad cards that I drew. No weapons. So let's see here. Well, He's going to do 2 points of damage to me. I only have a shield that I can use to block. So I'll go ahead and equip my shield there. So he does 2 to me. I block for 1. So that means 1 point of damage goes through. If they hurt you or kill your hero, destroy 1 item card in my hand. Okay, so I will destroy my lockpick there. So we've survived him. The light shield goes away, and now we have our next card here. Our next card here is a boss, is a bandit. And they're going to do 3 points of damage to me. So they kill me because I don't have anything to do to block that. If they hurt or kill your hero, destroy 1 card of 1 item card of your choice in your possession. I don't have any item cards. I do have another hero though. So I was unable to really do anything at all in this dungeon. I had 0 choices of what to do because I had no weapons, so I couldn't kill anything. I could only play my cards in a certain order to prevent damage. And it was 0 fun. Like, nothing cool happened. And that happened to me on both of my 2 learning games. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with this game. I'm not sure. I mean, I know it's like kind of like Darkest Dungeon where it's supposed to be difficult, but I just felt like in both of my learning games, I felt like I didn't have any choices at all. Like I had no say in what to do. Just these cards completely dictated everything. Well, I needed to block 3. I needed to block 2, die. And that's pretty much what happens. Maybe it's just the first turns are really boring and it gets better as you go. I don't know. But I just don't know if I'm playing the game right. There are just a number of things that the rulebook just is really unclear. And it doesn't have any examples really of anything. And there are very few YouTube videos about learning the game. So I know that the Moon Girl will be making some more videos and an updated rulebook. So maybe the game is better than I'm thinking it is now. I'm just not sure. It is very frustrating though. And having an initial frustrating experience just makes me not want to keep the game. Another thing that's super frustrating is I'm not sure if this was because of outspoken Kickstarter backers. I know people on Kickstarter love their plastic. They love their neoprene mats. I hate neoprene mats with a passion, and this is why right here. These things are folded up in the box, and they are super, super wrinkly. Why couldn't this have just been a cardboard board like board games are? Please stop with the neoprene mats. Please, please, please. If I ever see a game that is only with a neoprene mat, I'm not going to back it anymore. I don't like these things. This is after being ironed and a week sitting under a 16-pound book. And, you know, when you move your guy around, he's like falling over. Really, really poorly designed. I'm not sure why they decided to fold these up and stick them into this tiny box. You also get this neoprene mat here, which you're supposed to keep your cards on, but this thing is wrinkly as well. And this thing I've tried to iron and tried to flatten out, and it won't flatten out either. So I'm just using a card stand there. I was very frustrated with this game. I wanted to love it. I think this art deserves to be in a better game. I mean, God, just look at that cover. God, that is so cool. That is so dynamic. I wish I felt like this. I wish I looked at this cover. I wish the game reflected this. We would be in dungeon heaven if that was true. Maybe they will correct the game. Maybe I'm playing wrong. So if I'm playing wrong, let me know. If it is just kind of you're just completely at the whim of the cards and you have no say, you know, even if there was a die, like a D6 that you could roll to help you overcome situations like this, where you're sending lower level characters into a higher level dungeon because that's your only choice. Even that would be cool. I don't know. But so far, I'm pretty disappointed. But again, this isn't really a review. I'm just saying my initial frustrations with the game. So, all right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this look at Dungeons & Draggmar. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.